All right, so have you heard about this Book of Lives?
Can't say that I have. What's that all about then?
Well, get this, it's a game.
Okay.
But, and here's the wild part, it lets you experience reincarnation. You start as a rock.
A rock, huh? Sounds humble.
You got it, and you climb this karmic ladder.
Interesting concept. Where does it go from there?
Well, that's the thing, right? Who knows what the end game is, really?
Yeah.
But that's what we're diving into today, the mystical pages of the Book of Lives.
I'm intrigued. What kind of stuff are we talking here? Actual mystical stuff or more like a metaphorical journey?
Both, actually. We've got excerpts from the book itself, including this lively introduction.
Lively good or lively? Interesting.
Let's just say its creator, this Maladrix character, he's quite the personality. And that's not all. We're going to unpack the rules of the game itself.
Oh, so it's a real game with rules and everything. I'm even more curious now. What kind of rules are we talking about?
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure guide, but with karma and, consequences.
Okay, now that's a twist I wasn't expecting. And what kind of consequences? Good karma? Bad karma? The whole shebang?
It's the Book of Lives, so you better believe it's the whole karmic enchilada. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the truly bizarre. It doesn't shy away from those less than desirable outcomes.
Sounds like it'll make you think twice about those everyday decisions. I know I'm already feeling a bit introspective.
Right. It's like, oh man, that parking space I stole could have cost me some serious karmic points. But first, we have to meet the self-proclaimed magnificent Maladrix.
Ah, yes, the creator. Always good to get to know the mind behind the magic.
And his companions, the Magus' Mirror and the Book of Eldritch Shadows.
Hold on, companions. Are we talking sidekicks here?
They're more like critics, maybe. They judge Maladrix's every move.
Okay, I need more details. Are these artifacts, or are they sentient beings with their own motivations? What's the deal?
So picture this. Maladrix is showing off the Book of Lives. Flowing robes, the whole 9 yards. Promises players a chance to experience hundreds of lives. Then the Magus' Mirror chimes in.
Oh no, I can already sense the sarcasm. What does it say?
Imagine a voice dripping with sarcasm saying something like, another attempt to decipher the universe? How utterly fascinating.
Oh, that's brutal, but also kind of hilarious. What about the Book of Eldritch Shadows?
Right. The Book of Eldritch Shadows is less concerned with witty comebacks and more about maintaining the cosmic balance of the universe. It sees this whole project as a potential recipe for disaster.
Okay, so it's a dysfunctional magical family creating something groundbreaking, but also maybe courting disaster.
Exactly. But amidst all the bickering and skepticism, they share this goal, right? They want to help people understand karma and guide them towards some sort of oneness with the divine.
Ambitious goal for a game, wouldn't you say? So how does it work? What do players actually do in the Book of Lives?
Okay, so you start as a rock.
Wait, really? A rock, not like a majestic lion or a wise owl. We're starting with a plain old rock.
A rock. And, I was a little underwhelmed at first, too. But Maladrix has a method to his madness, of course. It's like a karmic puzzle.
Okay, I'm listening. What's so profound about being a rock?
It's a blank slate. Rock seems still, right? Unchanging. But over time, they can turn into mountains or erode into sand. They can even be part of a planet's foundation.
So it's not about being stuck. It's about potential. The potential for growth that exists in everything.
You got it. And from that starting point, your actions determine your next form. You do good deeds, you get good karma, which means you move up the reincarnation ladder.
Makes sense. So what, if you make bad choices, you come back as something less desirable?
Let's just say you might want to brush up on your moss growing skills.
Okay, no pressure or anything, but the Book of Lives is basically saying every decision has major consequences.
It's like a cosmic game of consequence, and the stakes just keep getting higher.
Speaking of stakes, let's dive into how you play the game. Do you roll dice? Consult an ancient oracle? Tell me everything.
So picture this. Each life comes with a unique lesson, a challenge you have to face.
Okay, so far so good. Then what?
And, just to make things interesting, there's a 20-sided die. It's all about the karma roll.
A D20, now we're talking. So your fate depends on a roll of the dice. That's intense.
It is, and get this, certain life forms, they give you advantage or disadvantage on the roll. It reflects the inherent karmic challenges.
That's fascinating. So it's not just the choice you make, but also the context. Like a selfless act as an ant might have a bigger impact than the same act from a king.
Exactly. And to make things even more interesting, each life form has a set lifespan.
So it's not just about racking up points, it's about how you use the time you have.
Brilliant. Okay. So we've established you start as a rock, Where do we go from there? What comes after the rock?
That's where things get even more interesting, because the Book of Lives, it really doesn't hold back on variety. You could be a bush soaking up the sun,
Sounds relaxing.
or maybe a fern unfurling in some prehistoric forest.
So we're talking about experiencing life from the perspective of creatures we don't even think twice about usually.
It's about appreciating how everything is connected.
I'm hooked already. What comes after the fern? Does it get a little more active?
Oh yeah, definitely more active. You might find yourself as an ant, crawling through the undergrowth, working with your colony.
Well, I don't know, all that pressure.
Yeah,
Carrying things 10 times your size. Plus, the traffic in those tunnels must be crazy.
but think about the teamwork.
That's true. Working together for a common goal.
And speaking of which, we should talk about the moral dilemmas the Book of Lives throws at you.
Because it can't all be sunshine and karmic harmony, right?
Definitely not. The moral dilemmas, that's where things get really interesting. What kind of crossroads would a player face early on, you ask?
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay, so you're a worm. You're just tunneling through the earth, and you find this massive pile of delicious decaying matter.
Worm jackpot.
Right. More than enough to last your whole worm life.
So, do you just eat, drink, and be merry?
Not so fast. This is where the Book of Lives throws you a curveball. Because you sense other worms. They're starving on the verge of death.
Oh, no. What do? It's like the ultimate ethical dilemma for a worm.
Do you hoard it all for yourself and guarantee your own survival? Or do you share and risk everything for the good of the colony?
I need a moment to process. That's heavy stuff.
And we haven't even gotten to the vertebrates yet.
Okay, so picking up where we left off with the Book of Lives, we have our worm facing a very real moral dilemma over a pile of decaying delicious.
Well,
You get the picture.
right, that worm's choice. It really gets at the heart of what makes the Book of Lives so compelling.
Because it's not just existing, right? It's about engaging with the world around you, even if that world is basically a compost heap. But let's say our worm makes the right call, racks up the good karma. What happens then?
Well, we've got to move on up.
Okay, what's next on this karmic game board?
Our worm might find themselves, well, taking a little swim as a fish.
From compost to coral reef. That's quite the upgrade. Okay, hit me with those karmic curveballs. What challenges does a fish face?
So imagine this. You are gliding through the ocean, right? Part of this school of fish, totally in tune with your environment, and then
Uh-oh, I don't like the sound of this.
you sense it, a disturbance. This shadow falls over you.
Oh, no.
Is it a pet?
It's a fishing net cast by humans. They need to eat. It happens.
I would panic. What kind of choice does a fish even have at that moment?
And that is the million-dollar question. The Book of Lives wants you to really confront this.
This I've got to hear. Lay it on me.
Okay, so do you just try to survive? Dart through those gaps in the net, even if it means, leaving your schoolmates behind.
Oh, man. But if you stay,
If you stay with the group, it could mean, well, game over. But you're embodying that spirit of, collective good.
talk about a no-win situation. There's no single right answer.
Nope. Individual survival against the responsibility to the group.
And that's where I'm guessing the D20 karma roll comes in.
Oh, you know it. Fate loves to play a hand. Sometimes it's not even about making the right choice. Some things, well, they're just out of our control.
It's like that saying, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Right. But in this case, it's more like karma is what happens when you're trying to survive being a fish.
100%. Okay, so our fish makes it through the net, survives against all odds. What kind of karmic promotion do they earn?
Well, we're moving from water to the land.
Ooh, land dweller.
Yeah.
Okay, give me something good.
How about a deer, graceful, in the forest?
Now we're talking. From coral reefs to shady glens. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right, so what karmic trials await a deer?
Okay, so picture this. You're a deer, right? You're leading your fawn through the forest. Everything's peaceful until...
Don't tell me there's danger lurking.
Not quite. You come across some humans. They don't seem threatening. They're offering you food.
Oh, no, I've seen enough nature documentaries to know this can't be good. What do you do as the deer?
Right. Your instincts are screaming danger, but your fawn, well, the fawn's young.
They trust easily.
Exactly, and they're drawn to these humans, to their voices.
This is rough. As a player, which way do you even go?
It's a real dilemma, right? Trust your gut, those instincts that keep you alive, or...
Let your guard down just a little.
Exactly. It's about instinct
Right.
and trust. Do you risk your fawn's safety? Or do you let them get close to these humans, hoping for the best, but knowing it could go very wrong?
Wow. And of course, the D20 karma roll is there,
Yeah.
adding another layer of nail-biting tension.
Always. Life, even simulated karmic life, is full of surprises.
This is why I love this Book of Lives already. It's not just about racking up points. It's like you're actually wrestling with the big questions.
Right, and as we climb higher on that karmic ladder, things just get more intense. The choices, they get tougher, way more nuanced.
Okay, so what's next? Who does our wise, experienced deer become?
We're going back to the water.
Wait, really? Back to the ocean.
This time, as a dolphin.
Sign me up. What's it like to be a dolphin in the Book of Lives?
The Book of Lives really elevates the dolphin. Intelligent, social, really connected to the ocean itself.
Okay, but big intelligence, big responsibility.
Right.
There have to be some tough karmic calls to make as a dolphin, too.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine this. You're swimming with your pod, and you encounter a shipwreck. Humans are trapped.
Oh, no, that's a tough one. Do you help or save yourselves?
It's a classic Book of Lives dilemma. What do you prioritize? Helping these humans, risking your pod, maybe even messing with the natural order of things? Or do you just survive? Let them face their fate.
I can't imagine having to make that choice. It's compassion, right, versus self-preservation.
Exactly. And to make it even more interesting, the book throws in another element: communication.
Wait, the dolphins can talk to the humans, like with words.
Not words exactly. It's more like this deeper understanding, something that goes beyond language. You can sense their intentions, their fear.
So it adds a whole other layer to the decision-making process.
Absolutely. It makes you think about what consciousness really is, the possibility of connecting with another species on that level. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
Right.
What comes after facing a dilemma like that?
Well, let's just say our altruistic, noble dolphin is going to experience life on land again.
Back on land. Okay, what's next?
Our next stop on the reincarnation train is an elephant.
From ocean to savanna. What's so special about being an elephant in the Book of Lives?
Elephants, they're all about wisdom in the Book of Lives. They have this incredible social structure, and their connection to their ancestors, super important.
It's like they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly, and that comes with a heavy dose of responsibility, not just for their family, but for their entire species. And that, of course, leads us to another moral dilemma.
I should have known. Hit me with it.
You are now the matriarch of the herd. It's a time of drought, food is scarce, and you've got this knowledge passed down through generations of a hidden oasis. It's a long shot, but it could save everyone.
So it's a classic risk versus reward situation then.
Right. Take the risk, knowing the journey will be perilous, or play it safe, stick to familiar territory and hope for the best, but knowing that many in your herd.
They might not make it.
It really highlights an elephant's amazing memory and their understanding of the natural world.
But also the burden of leadership. Tough call.
The Book of Lives doesn't stop there. Oh no, it adds another layer of complexity to the situation. One of the younger elephants thinks they know a faster way, a shortcut.
Uh-oh. This can't be good.
They're challenge your authority. They want the herd to follow them.
What do? Do you trust the wisdom of your ancestors, the knowledge that's kept your herd alive for generations? Or do you take a chance on this younger elephant? What if they're right?
Tradition versus innovation. Experience against the enthusiasm of youth.
And of course, we can't forget that trusty D20 always lurking in the background, ready to throw a wrench in the works.
Right, you can make the most calculated decision, and life, even simulated karmic life, has a way of
keeping you on your toes.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're back, and I gotta say, this Book of Lives deep dive has been pretty wild.
It's really something else, isn't it?
We've crawled around as worms, swam with the dolphins, even led an elephant herd.
We've seen how the Book of Lives uses those early life forms to really get at some of those core dilemmas, you know?
Right. Cooperation versus competition, trusting your gut. That whole idea that sometimes, no matter how hard you try to make the right choice, there's always an element of
fate, chance.
Exactly. Which I guess is a core part of the whole karma thing, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's baked right into the fabric of the game.
Okay, so we've explored the animal kingdom pretty extensively, but we haven't gotten to the main event yet.
The main event being?
What happens when you're ready to tackle being human?
Yes. Humanity. The Book of Lives doesn't shy away from the complexities of being human. In fact, it leans right into them, all the messy contradictions and everything.
Okay, I'm both excited and a little scared. Give me a sneak peek. What does it look like to be human in the Book of Lives?
Imagine you're a hunter-gatherer. You live with your tribe, spend your days tracking animals, finding food, maintaining that balance with nature.
Sounds idyllic in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there are still those karmic choices to make.
Always. Let's say it's a harsh winter, food is really scarce, you're out hunting, and you and your group, you find a lone mammoth.
Okay, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. What's the dilemma?
It's old, injured. You can tell this mammoth is close to death.
Oh, well, so what do you do?
Do you kill it? Take it down, knowing that it'll feed your tribe, but also...
It's the end of this creature's life.
And it's not that simple either. The book adds another layer to this, a spiritual one. The tribe believes that the spirits of the animals they hunt, they live on, become part of their ancestors' wisdom.
Okay, now this is getting really interesting.
It's not just about survival anymore, right? It's a spiritual act. It's something that carries real karmic weight.
I can see that. So what's the right choice?
That's the thing about the Book of Lives. There isn't always a clear right or wrong. It's about wrestling with these complex questions, understanding the nuances. You could say ending the mammoth's suffering is an act of mercy. It allows its spirit to move on. But you could also argue that letting it die naturally is more aligned with respecting the interconnectedness of life.
It's a powerful dilemma. It makes you think about how we view our place in the world.
Exactly. And that's a recurring theme as our hunter-gatherer moves through different human incarnations.
What do you mean?
You don't just experience one human life. You could live multiple lives, each one with its own set of karmic challenges.
Wow, okay. So where does our hunter-gatherer go next?
Let's say they're reborn as a farmer.
From nomad to, like, the dawn of agriculture.
Exactly. But even in this seemingly simpler life, the Book of Lives doesn't disappoint.
What kind of curveball does a farmer face?
Your crops are doing great, right? You've got abundance. But a blight hits the land? It's threatening to wipe everything out?
Oh, no. That's everyone's worst fear.
Right. And to make matters worse, your neighbors, they're facing starvation.
This is awful. What do you even do in that situation? Do you share your limited food?
Do you risk everything, even if it might not be enough? Or do you hold on to what you've earned and trust that somehow they'll find another way?
Another impossible choice.
Yeah.
And of course, we have the karmic consequences to think about too. This game really puts you through the ringer.
It does. But that's how we learn and grow, right? And just when you think you've got a handle on things, the Book of Lives, well, it introduces a new element.
Don't tell me. What is it?
The gods.
Wait a minute, the gods. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's subtle. Not like they're directly intervening or anything, but you can now appeal to them. Each god represents a different aspect. Abundance, wisdom, protection.
Okay, I think I get it. So
Right.
you can ask for their help, but
No guarantees. Think of it as maybe influencing the karma roll, a little nudge in a certain direction.
or no nudge at all.
Exactly. Even in this human realm, even with the potential for divine influence, the Book of Lives wants to remind you that ultimately, so much of life is beyond our control.
I love that. Okay, so we've gone from farmers to what? What other human lives can we experience?
You could be an artisan, using your skills to create beautiful objects. Or maybe you're a merchant, traveling the world, dealing in precious goods.
This game has it all. What kind of tough choices would those roles bring? Give me the good stuff.
Let's say you're an artisan. You've poured your heart and soul into this masterpiece. It's more than just an object to you.
Right? It's part of you.
Then this wealthy patron comes along and offers you a fortune for it.
Oh, wow. Do you take the deal? Security, comfort?
Or do you hold on to your creation, protect its integrity, even if it means sacrificing your own well-being?
It's that classic struggle of the artist. What about the merchant?
Okay, so you're the merchant, and you discover this shortcut, this route that's going to save you tons of time, increase your profits. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch. What is it?
It cuts through sacred ground, disrupts ancient rituals. You risk angering some very powerful deities.
Oh, boy. So it's profit versus ethics. Do you take the risk?
Right. Do you prioritize your own personal gain, or do you show respect, take the longer route, and maybe lose out on some of that fortune?
I love how the Book of Lives weaves these very real dilemmas, these very human struggles, into its whole karmic framework.
That's what makes it more than just a game. It holds up a mirror, right?
Yeah.
Makes you examine those deep-seated beliefs we all carry with us.
It's like the game is telling us, being human, it's messy. There's no rule book, no easy answers. You just have to navigate the best way you know how.
Exactly. Make those choices and see what the karmic dice have in store.
Speaking of which, where do we go from here? What happens when you've pretty much mastered being human? What's the final level of the Book of Lives?
This is where the game goes from fascinating to, well, mind-blowing. It's not about linear storytelling anymore. It goes beyond that into something more Esoteric, maybe even a little mystical.
All right, I'm ready. Hit me with the final level.
Imagine existing without form. No individual consciousness, no limitations. You're not bound by a body or single lifespan anymore.
Okay, wow. We're talking next level stuff here. What do you even call that state of being?
It doesn't really have a name, at least not in the traditional sense. The book refers to it as the ultimate goal, merging with the divine.
So it's about transcending the cycle of reincarnation altogether.
You got it. It's about understanding the interconnectedness of everything, not just in the game, but in life itself.
Wow, that's a lot to process. So what's the takeaway? What's the big lesson that the Book of Lives wants to leave us with?
That life, even a game, is all about exploring and learning, making those choices, experiencing those consequences, and realizing that every single one of us, we're all part of something much bigger.
I've got to be honest, when we started this deep dive, I never imagined it would get so, well, profound.
Me neither.
It's more than just a game. It's a philosophy. It's a way of looking at the world, at the choices we make, and the impact those choices have. Not just on ourselves, but on everything around us.
Beautifully said.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the Book of Lives. To everyone listening, thank you for coming along on this incredible journey with us. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of reincarnation, karma, and the choices that shape our destinies.
And until next time, remember, life is a game, so play it well.